is it a slight to say Kevin Durant's one of the greatest scorers of all time?
It's not a slight, Dan. It's just limiting. You know what I mean? Like when you say someone's a great scorer, you're saying that's the only thing that they're great at. Like when I say Carmelo Anthony is a great scorer, that's like the first thing that you think of. And if you take a while before you go to maybe the other things of his game, and I'm not insulting Carmelo in any way, but you think of Carmelo as a great scorer first and foremost. You think of KD, or you should think of KD as one of the greatest all-around players this league has ever seen. Unfortunately, in the era of LeBron James and Stephen Curry, you tend to limit him or discuss him in other ways a lot of times that have nothing to do with basketball.
Yeah, but I think with Steph Curry, he's the greatest shooter of all time. I don't think we talk about anything else with him. Now, granted, that's a great compliment, but if I said Steph Curry, one of the greatest scorers of all time, that would be accurate because he's not known for anything else other than being the greatest shooter in the history of the game.
I agree. And it's weird. You know what's funny is because we don't think about shooters being great players in that way when you think, maybe aside from Larry Bird, but when you thought of great shooters, you think of guys that have like a specialized skill, like a Dale Ellis or someone like that. That's just a three-point shooter only, almost like a field goal kicker in a way in football. But Steph has sort of revolutionized it in a way that he is a great scorer and he is a great shooter, the greatest shooter we've ever seen. But there's so many other different parts and different facets to his game. I think with someone like KD, the conversation is so convoluted and a lot of times unfair when it comes to Kevin Durant that we're always looking for the slight when someone calls him a great scorer. We're saying, wait a minute, what about the other parts of his game? You know, like for me, Dan, I thought Kevin Durant became the league's best player in 2014 when he became the best defensive player between himself and LeBron James, except we never thought about Kevin Durant in that way. We short ourselves and we short him in the way that we discuss him. And now that he's on the back end of his career, now we're starting to hopefully acknowledge and see all the great parts of his game.
Okay. How about we look at this down the road when their careers are over with, who will be recognized as a better player, Steph Curry or Kevin Durant?
That's an excellent question, man. I think Steph Curry winning that championship in 2022 put him over the top of Kevin Durant. I think, unfortunately, this rings culture, I don't subscribe to rings culture in that sort of direct way, but I do think that Steph's ability to lead a franchise, to stay with a franchise, to stick it out with a franchise, compared to KD, who's been a little bit more mercenary, that's going to be something that people look at as a demerit. I think as a basketball player, Kevin Durant, because of what he does defensively, he's a better all-around player than Steph.